we've had quite a few like health emergencies throughout the years across the world with these different viruses and whatnot. I recall back in 2009, the swine flu. I had a very close friend of mine who almost died from it, was in the hospital for quite some time recovering. And even at that time, my wife was pregnant with my first son. My daughter was only a couple years old, and it was definitely a crazy time. We had to line up to get vaccinated for that, and it was like the priority was for people who were high risk. And since my wife was pregnant, we were in that high risk category, so we went and got this. Waited in line for hours to get the damn vaccine. And now with this coronavirus, I know a lot of people are talking about it. The vibe seems very familiar to me compared to the swine flu, especially in California here. It hasn't really hit hard in the U.S. yet. I know over March Air Force Base, they have like a quarantine place over there. That's only about 20 minutes away from me. It seems like it's being handled fairly well, but it's still, it's ravaging China, and it's slowly spreading in different places. Hopefully this can be taken care of. I know the vaccines will be a long while off, but I've seen a lot of people talking about what are the effects of this on the gaming industry. And you know, it's more of a serious thing, the health aspect of it. And that kind of ties into what we're talking about today. You know, there's been, the death toll has been rising. Earlier, it was like 500 and something. I just checked. They stated it's over 600. Very sad, very crazy stuff. And it's going to affect a lot of industries out there, especially video games and electronics. So pretty much if a company doesn't have their product already made and on a container shipping over to the US or other regions, it most likely will be delayed. And one thing they're talking about here on Business Insider is the PS5 and Xbox are due out this holiday, but they could potentially be delayed because of the coronavirus. Now, this is a little bit of speculation here, but with most of these products being manufactured in China, they could be designed in the US and Japan and Europe. It doesn't matter. Manufacturing in China is huge, and a lot of Chinese manufacturers are taking precautions, you know, shutting down operations. I know it's, you know, Chinese New Year, the celebrations end on the 8th, I believe. So just a couple days away from the recording of this. But a lot of companies are taking extreme precautions to make sure their employees, you know, are safe. And that's a good thing. I haven't really seen too many people like bitching like, oh my God, my PlayStation may be delayed. And if you're going to bitch about that, I mean, you got to get your priorities straight. Human lives are more important than any video game. And this could be a very serious thing, especially if the spread just, you know, goes further and further. I know there's been instances in the US and California and a few other places. Most of the infections and deaths are in China right now. Hopefully this can get handled. But yeah, just, you know, I mainly wanted to talk about this just because, yeah, this is an important topic. Video games, a lot of people cherish and love, a lot of electronics and stuff like that. But if something winds up being delayed because of this, you know, just hold your tits and just relax. It's going to be okay. Let the world get this stuff straightened out, and then we'll enjoy our games, right? That's just the way it's got to be. So pretty much, I'll put links to this article. I don't want to read this whole damn thing. But essentially, they're just saying like a lot of this stuff with these next-gen consoles can be delayed. As you know, they're stating, though most major video games are made in North America, Europe, and Japan, large components of those games are outsourced to China. As much as 30 to 50% of art creation in Western games is done in China. There's so much stuff outsourced to China that could cause delays. Nearly 100% of the manufacturing takes place in China, so that's the biggest thing. And they do reference that Nintendo actually has brought this up. The Nintendo Switch, I mean, I could go down to the store, they got Nintendo Switches, you know what I mean? But in Japan, it's been a little bit more crazy getting your hands on a Nintendo Switch. These things are, you know, they're flying off the shelves. They're having a hard time keeping them stocked. And Nintendo has stated it could be a bit of a delay getting these into the Japanese stores because of the coronavirus. So a lot of companies, not just future things, but shipments of current products or currently to be released products, it could be delayed. So just keep that stuff in mind. You know, it's just the way it's going to be. I know people will be disappointed, but just kind of hold back on that. You can't get mad over delays because of something that's out of our control here. There's still a lot for these people to learn about the coronavirus that's going on out here in California, man. I know plenty of places as well. We've been hit with the flu like bad. Like there's two strains of the flu right now. So it's like you could catch it twice. There's an A and a B strain. And it's like the vaccines that they put out for the flu aren't always 100% accurate to what the strain is. So it's like if you got the flu shot this year, you could still catch the other strain because it wasn't as effective for one strain, but then it can be for the other. So it's a crazy time. I've been going through it. My kids have been getting sick. My wife is in the health industry. She's been dealing with this stuff. There's people going crazy buying face masks. Holy crap. They go to the stores where I'm at. If you want to go get a face mask, you can't get one. They don't exist because people are buying them up. They're just hoarding them and they're reselling them for crazy amounts of money. It's just dumb. It's dumb. Like when you have something like this that it's kind of an emergency, there's some stuff going on, a lot of unknown. Some people may be spreading false information. I'm no expert. I'm not trying to spread any false information. It is something to worry about, but we still have to, hear more about what's going on as far as the spread of this. But yeah, whenever there's kind of a scare, people start buying all this shit up, hoarding it, and then taking advantage of others. I can't stand that stuff, man. It's not cool. Like unless you were buying them up to disperse them for free to people who, are high risk at catching something out there, like then you're a good person. But if you're buying them up to resell them when it's a health thing, holy crap! It's not like the NES Super Nintendo Classic where you're just a douchebag for buying them up and reselling them. You're buying up like health items that people could use to try to stay safe. I find that's a huge amount of bullshit there. But yeah, to continue on, there's just so much going on. If the products, these things are delayed, I know there's going to be a lot of Kickstarters. I'm sure I've backed a few things that may be delayed because of this. Systems, video games, smaller distribution runs of things. It's just going to be the way it is. I saw earlier this from Private Division that they stated that they're delaying Outer Worlds on the Nintendo Switch, and that's unfortunate. It's a badass game, man. Like I was extremely excited to get to play this on the Switch. I have it on the PS4. Never completed it though, but I would love to play it on the Switch. But they stated that they're delaying it due to the coronavirus impacting the Virtuos team working on the port. So it's things that are in development as well, things that are being worked on could be delayed because of the coronavirus. They go on to state that the team is okay, but their office has remained closed during this time. And part of it too could be the Chinese New Year celebrations as well. But a lot of companies, they're just staying shut down through that and past that to make sure things are good. Like a lot of companies they want to make sure the impact of this virus is pretty much gone before they commence going back to business. And I don't blame them, man. Like try to hold this virus in its place and not have it spread. It's already unfortunate so many people have passed away from it. That sucks for sure, but you have to do as much as you can to make sure this stuff doesn't spread further. So I don't blame a company like this. Like, hey, that's a good thing. But then the one positive that comes out of this is that now they're going to be releasing the game on a cartridge instead of just like a physical box with a download code. That's cool. I appreciate that. Thank you. I mean, I always prefer my games to be physical over digital. That's a positive out of it. But I'm glad to see companies like this, like, I don't think I've seen anybody in here like talking crap, because you'd be really out of place to be talking crap to these guys, for, taking these steps to make sure people are okay. I'm glad to see it. So far, yeah, I think most of the people like in this thread here pretty much like, hey, like, cool, man, take care of your people. That's great that we see, we're getting a physical copy eventually. That's awesome. So definitely cool. Glad I'm not seeing too many people acting childish over stuff like this because it's just not the time, man. So there we go. There's delays. Just expect to see more of this stuff announced. Games being delayed, electronics, possibly cell phones that are being, put out. There's going to be a lot of delays through this year. I've already told my kids like, hey, certain summer plans that we normally do, like may have to be put on hold because we don't know the impact of this or how it's spreading yet. Not to try to scare them, but just like, hey, our summer this year, which we always do a lot of stuff, go to theme parks, to the water parks, stuff like that, may have to be put on hold. We'll have to wait and see, like no guarantees. Cause my kids were bugging like, hey, are we doing season passes to Raging Waters this year? Are we doing this? Are we doing that? And it's like, man, it's like, it's still like winter, isn't it? Like it's barely like, you guys calm down. You still have a few months of school. We'll talk about that later. But just letting them know, because they were getting sick. A lot of kids, like half the kids in their school, were calling off of school because everybody's getting the flu around here, getting it like twice. You know what I mean? So just had to be real with them. Like, hey, there's this virus. People don't really know what's going on, so we're not making solid plans yet. Let's chill, kind of relax, see what's going on. So hey guys, let me know what you think. Really do appreciate y'all hanging out with me. And with that said, I will catch y'all next time. Peace out, bye-bye, and boom. Bye.